Andrea and Roger began dating in high school. Despite their relationship's disapproval by their respective parents, they didn't listen and were always together. Roger was a smart boy and did well in school, but was from a poor family, so the girl's parents weren't happy with him. Andrea's family was better off. They lived in a better neighborhood and had a nice house, so Roger's parents thought Andrea wasn't a good match for him and that he should find a girl from their area. It wasn't love at first sight. It was more like a relationship that built up day after day and year over year. Andrea and Roger were on the same page. They liked the same school subjects, the same books, and even had the same life views. They were never bored together and always found something to do or talk about. As they got older, they began to understand their feelings were more than platonic, and they couldn't imagine living without each other. It was love, but not the kind that is mindless and makes you do stupid things. It was a pure, bright, deep feeling that gradually grew and made each of them fuller and a continuation of the other. At 18, Andrea got pregnant, and they got married. They raised 2 wonderful children and 3 grandchildren. Even in school, they swore to carry their love their entire lives, and they kept that promise. Andrea and Roger were a couple that still had something to say to each other after 50 years of living together. That's how long they lived together until Roger passed, leaving Andrea alone. Her children and grandchildren took care of her, of course. They called every day to see how she was doing, and the grandkids came to visit, buying her food and helping around the house. But she didn't have her other half, and without Roger, her life wasn't full anymore. Even 10 years after his death, she was still alone and seriously missing him. After Roger's death, the kids and grandkids suggested selling the house more than once to move in with one of them, but Andrea declined every time, even though she didn't know why. One day, there was a knock at the door. Today was Amy's turn to visit Andrea. Even though she lived on the other side of town, she never missed her turn to visit her favorite grandmother. Andrea loved when Amy visited. Despite the attention and care from the other children and grandchildren, it was different with Amy. And despite their age difference, they were kindred souls. As always, Amy went by the store on the way to buy food. She also stopped by a bakery on the corner to get pastries that Andrea loved dearly. After she asked Grandma about her routine, how she felt, and how her day was, Amy went to the kitchen to make dinner. Suddenly, she heard sobs from Andrea's room. Amy knocked and went into the bedroom. Andrea was sitting on her bed in tears, with family photo albums around her and a picture of Roger in her hands. "He left me alone. I still miss him. I still need him. I have no money and I can't sell the house. Something is keeping me here," the woman said, sobbing. Amy sat next to her and hugged her favorite grandma. "You know, I've thought about Roger a lot recently. He was always so mysterious and had one mystery I couldn't solve. Just now I realized I don't even know what he did. Whenever I asked him about work, he answered with generic, vague phrases, laughed, and changed the topic. He worked a lot, traveled for long times, but we were never rich. Now I'm wondering, what if Roger had another woman?" "Grandma dear, what are you talking about? What other woman? I've never met people in my life that loved each other and treated each other as amazingly as you and Grandpa. Also, as far as I remember, if Grandpa wasn't at work, he was in the garage," she said to calm her grandma down. "The garage!" Andrea thought first, then started. "After Roger died, I didn't touch anything there. I couldn't. But now it's been 10 years. We should go together, now." Amy put her arm around Andrea, and they went to the garage. "It would have been a good idea to clean up around here. Why did I never look before?" Amy said, looking around. They looked at the things in the garage for a long time, remembering stories connected to each of them. When they were ready to leave, Amy suddenly noticed a suitcase in the corner with a pile of junk on top. Amy dug through the pile, got to the suitcase, and opened it. There were tons of files with documents and a small box inside. To the women's shock, the box was full of letters, tons of letters. They were all written by Roger to Andrea. He wrote how he loved his wife and how he was sorry he couldn't tell her everything. He was sorry he couldn't give his family what they wanted in life. He was very sorry that he spent so much time on business trips and probably didn't spend enough time with his wife and kids. And his last letter revealed all the secrets. He was a CIA agent undercover. He made enough money but couldn't reveal all his income. He could only give part of it to Andrea and had to hide the rest. He invested all the hidden income in gold. He described where the hidden gold was in detail in the letter. The letter ended with gratitude and a request for forgiveness. He thanked Andrea for never demanding more and for believing him and not asking too many questions. He thanked her for always being with him despite everything. He asked forgiveness for all the secrets he couldn't tell her. When they finished the last letter, both women wept. Andrea understood that the secrets were what kept her in the house. This was why she had to stay, to finally learn the truth. Now, she suddenly felt free and could finally let both Roger and the house go. They easily found all the secret boxes with tons of gold and jewels. The profits from selling it were enough for Andrea, her children, and with some for the grandkids to spare. The family decided to sell the house, and Andrea approved. Considering she couldn't live without help anymore, Amy suggested buying a home near hers so she could visit every day. Everyone was happy with the idea, but Andrea was the happiest. She wasn't wrong. Her decision in school to connect her life with Roger's was an important one, and it made her life happy.